Hey, what's up, everybody? Appreciate y'all for joining us. Appreciate y'all for joining the One and One Sports Show. My name is Shawnee,
My name is Dante.
and Dante, I'm just over here putting this little schedule together real quick.
Okay, cool. Well, I started off, man. We got a really good show for y'all this week, man. Of course, we thought we were gonna be. It wasn't gonna be as an exciting going up into the NBA Finals because the finals do start tomorrow. But the Boston Celtics decided to delay their Cancun plans. Like I was telling my friends, I was in the group chat. I was like, man, they missed Memorial Day weekend. All to come out there and get blown out at Game 7 at home. It's like, they could've- but no, I respect the fight. I want to say that the Game 6 with what was this? I forgot his name. Last name White. Used to play with the Spurs, but they got the tip in. I was
Oh, now I'm about to say Danny White.
I was about to say Dennis White, thinking about Dennis Johnson since I'm thinking about the Celtics. But he's nowhere near
Yeah,
that good.
I, now yeah, I forgot his name.
Man, it slipped for me because I know those old Spurs, but it was crazy
Derek
to me
White.
because Derek
Derek
White.
White.
It
I don't
was a
know why I
crazy
forgot the
scene for
dude.
me. I'm watching my brother play an AAU basketball game that starts at 8:55, and
Uh
I'm
huh.
like, bro, y'all are not in the pros. I'm like, but it's so many teams playing, so they're playing a game, and it's basketball junkies. They turn the TV on at the Rex at the facility, so we're watching the last bit. Like I'm listening on ESPN radio, and I walk out. I'm like, oh, they got the game. So I turn my app off. See, and then like one of the coaches, man. Love to see people like this, and he just it's hilarious. He's like he gonna miss one of these three free throws. I mean, he's telling all the kids and everything. He knocks down all three, and then you come up, and it's just like just. And we were saying like I was here people saying, oh, you got to box out, but it's like it was one of them weird type of box out situations where you shooting, but they were all kind of looking up at it, thinking if he make it, he make it. It's over. If he miss it, we won. But he had just enough time to where he missed it, and he got the tip in. And so that was a crazy scene. I personally, as a Lakers fan, I wanted the Celtics to lose, but I thought whoever won Game 6 was going to win the series. But like we were talking about it pre-show, and I forgot about this. Another reason why teams can't come back from down 4-0, 3-0 is because all the energy. It's kind of like when you lose a big lead, another team builds up a lead against you in a game, and you keep fighting to get back, but you just can't get the lead. That takes more energy out of you. They don't have as much energy because they're just trying to maintain what they have, and it's just like it looks like the Heat. I mean, the Celtics on top of the Jason Tatum injury was just spent, and so they just fell out of gas, and it's one of those deals to where. And I know some people don't like this about the NBA, but I'm a person that does. The season ends, and then it immediately goes into because it helps with the intrigue. What are you gonna do about Jalen Brown? What are you gonna do with the duo? I think, is maxed out. They've been to the finals. I think I heard they've been to the conference finals 4 times out of 6 years. It might have ran its course. And then, and Jalen Brown is up for one of those. He just made first team All NBA. So did Jason Tatum. He's up for a
Yeah,
supermax
yeah.
time, and it's like, yikes.
Uh, and I'll probably get into it more once we go more in depth into the NBA playoffs. But I'm just always under the mindset that if you let a good player go to waste, you damn sure better have a plan on what you're gonna do replacement. You see so many times. That's why I always say, don't let I'm glad fans don't run teams
Yeah,
because the emotional roller coaster a fan would go. They would get rid of a player in a heartbeat because he had a bad series. Never mind the thing that all the stuff that they did to get there. That one series that they season happened to end, they want to get rid of the player, and then you see that a lot in football. And then the player that is ultimately their replacement don't even produce half of what the player that was let go. They just you just better damn sure have a good plan. And when it all comes down to it, Jalen Brown was an All NBA player this year.
hmm
It's not like you're gonna be able to replace that off the streets. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's the supplement players. They can always make a tweak on that because the Celtics is just right there. It's
yeah,
right there. You don't need to. Basically, you give away Brown, you basically restarting now. Yeah, that's basically exactly what you're doing. You basically restart the team because Brown and Tatum, because neither one shown to be that true alpha player that just takes over a game. The one who will majority of the time is Tatum, but then he has his share of disappearing
Consistency.
as well.
Hmm.
And it's like they feed. It's weird. It's like they feed off each other, but then again they don't play well with each other. I don't know what the
Yeah.
hell is going on between them
It's
two. It's just like I don't see the other one propelling their game if the other one is not on the court. So there's a chemistry in there, but then it's like the chemistry is not the chemistry that you see with Steph and Clay or Steph with Draymond with Clay. It's a chemistry though. You can't if you mess with it, you will definitely see it if you
yeah.
take them off the court with each other. So it's I mean I think they tried to have it with Al Horford. I think they need a true point guard. Uh,
That's what I was gonna say. The true
yeah,
point guard is the biggest thing that they could do. They went they went with the Malcolm Brogdon thing, and the thing is, he's a guy that I want to say this, and this is like a little bit off topic. I give the Milwaukee Bucks organization props for realizing that yeah, we're not a team that gets free agents, but Malcolm Brogdon is very good. We can do better, and they didn't give him that big extension that he got. He got it from the Pacers, and lo and behold, I think the next offseason they got Drew Holiday, and it's kind of
yeah.
like that's who you sell out for, and you go and get a guy like that, end up winning the championship. So that's where they're at the crossroads at. On the other hand, though, Shani, I feel like this, and it's just from a team builder standpoint. Jalen Brown, I think he'll be better if he goes somewhere else and it becomes a okay, but it just depends on the situation. Like we were doing, spitballing trades in the group chat. Jalen Brown would be a good fit, especially as a bigger guard slash wing type of player if he goes to say Portland. Because Portland has assets that they can move. They had a top 10 pick last year. They have the number 3 overall pick this year, and they have a guy. Obviously for contract reasons and for an ability standpoint, they have a small guard that can shoot, make plays. Anthony Simmons, but once again, him and Dame, and I don't know why Portland just hey man, let's just. I know you get the talent, but at some point you have to say we want talent, but we need something to fit with the guy we play with. So obviously the perfect guy to play with would be a prime Klay Thompson. But if you can't get that, Jalen Brown is a guy that can shoot the three at a decent percentage, and when he's focused, he can play defense, and so
Yeah.
he can play defense at a high level. So that's the type of move I would like to see him do. But the only thing is, Anthony Simmons is not really the true point guard that you per se may need with that team to help their offense run. But I think you could put a lineup of if you had Simmons and Smart together, that could work. Where Smart's a defender, get the ball out of his hands. I see too many possessions where it's like, bro, you were the defensive player of the year. Not saying that you're not a good offensive player, but I'm also saying that you're not the best option to have the ball late in games. It's like we got somebody that's either going to be able to make the shot themselves consistently, or we're going to run Tatum off of picks, or we're going to run action and find a way to get the ball in his hands. And I think that would kind of be because I did hear whispers of people saying, man, Jalen Brown kind of stepped up in the finals, and Tatum, he was nowhere to be found. It's like I would keep, it's like nah, of the players, I keep Tatum over Brown, but if they do keep it together, and it's something that I know I keep speaking on, and the
So
new CBA would make it
you were
hard for
saying they
them to
was
build a team.
you saying they was trying to say they'd rather keep Brown instead of Tatum?
First, of people say that, and I was kind of like, but
Yeah.
NBA Twitter is
Yeah,
kind of it's
yeah.
various. It varies, and there's a whole lot of schools of thought, and I mean social media in general, which is the fun and the bad part of it. Uh, I don't know. I feel like they have a if they bring them both back at max extensions, they're gonna make it hard to build a team because the league. I think this is one of those where they're trying to overcorrect, and the next CBA they're gonna be like, hey, you'll need to ease some of this stuff back. And what the deal is, if you spend so much money, you'll get it's what you call obviously there's people that pay extra money because they're so much over the cap, but they have what's called a second apron. And if you're paying into that super repeater tax and stuff, it's eventually you could lose draft picks, and they're basically saying how bad do you want to just give up? And I think if you spend too much in their tax, on the flip side, for the next couple of years, you could be in the lottery, and you can see what happened with the Pistons. Worst team in the league end up getting the fifth pick. And
Mm-hmm.
so then the four better guys go in front of you. You left with just trying to do the best you can. So uh,
But
sucks for them, but
yeah, so since we basically going down the road of, I guess, team building, and real quick, I want to give a shout out. Appreciate Jay, Queen Candy. What's up, Marcus? Appreciate y'all for joining us today. And
it's
yeah,
good.
Jay, feel free whenever you're ready, join on in. And yeah, that goes for anybody when you're ready. Y'all can feel free to join in.
What's going on,
Uh,
Marcus?
but speaking about team building and whatnot, leads me to one of the topics that we was going to get to. Of course, we're going to touch on the finals, but one topic I want to touch on before we get that was former Warriors now, former president GM Bob Myers decided to step down, and many times you hear about culture in the NBA, it automatically goes to Pat Riley, um, Greg Popovich with the Spurs, with him and I forgot the GM name for the Spurs. They've been there together for a long time. And then you have Bob
RC
My
Buford.
yes, RC Buford and with the Spurs. And then you have Bob Myers with the Warriors, who is just as accomplished as them two. And he is the main one. He is the architect of putting this Warriors team together. He's the main one who, yeah, it was some off the court stuff, kind of. Excuse me, I'm just getting over this cold. Some off the court stuff, not nothing bad, but just a difference of opinions and beliefs with the whole Mark Jackson thing. But he was the
Yeah.
one that let Mark Jackson go and brought in a first time head coach and Steve Kerr, who had experience as an executive
Hmm.
before that, but not as a head coach. And Steve Kerr now, you probably put Steve Kerr probably one of the top five, top six greatest head coaches of all time now. And of course, he built a team with Curry, Thompson, Draymond, the big three. They had the team that went and won the 73 games in the first stint, that juggernaut that ultimately, even though they lost the finals that year, they still won the 73 games, and then it was able to get KD. They was able to somehow pull KD away from OKC, made a juggernaut team with that, and then that stint kind of left because they had the injuries with both
Hmm.
Steph and Clay, and then all of a sudden now he put a team together and they just won a championship last year, off the emergence of Jordan Poole. Now we all know Jordan Poole this year didn't live up to it because he got the money, and yeah, you heard the thing about him and Draymond when Draymond punched him in the offseason, but then you also heard that once Poole got the money, it was like dude was trying to act too good for his shoes now, man. He trying to get this fancy life, so he wasn't. He thought he made it, that hunger that he had when they won the title, it wasn't showing there. So he thought he had it made when he got the money. So,
Yeah.
but
I want to say
Bob Myers stepping down, that's huge in the NBA world.
that's huge, and I don't want to be the person that says it. I was jokingly saying that like when the Lakers beat us, oh man, we beat them, ended the dynasty. But one thing that alarms me is one of the people that's up to take over for Bob is Joe Lakem's son, and I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. He might, I don't, that's one of those. If they go with that and it works, fine. But they're at a really pivotal point because, like we just mentioned earlier, the NBA is coming down, and basically this offseason is going to be the first one where I'm heard you're supposed to hear teams try to get their books in order as far as their finances. And so it's like, hey, I understand that, and teams doing and making trades, but the Warriors had doubled down and kind of made, they're one of the teams that made you probably want to pay this tax or make those tax rules because I think the Clippers, where have been some of the worst offenders where it was like we're gonna pay it up. We'll pay whatever. We're gonna pay all our guys. They paid Jordan Poole. Another person to help to win that title, a big piece was Andrew Wiggins. So you paid them both big deals, And then Draymond has a player option. Clay said he wants the money, even though if you watch this playoffs, probably that deal might look okay year one, but if that's a 4-year deal, years 2 through 4, you don't really know what he's gonna do. Obviously, your max player, your big time player, Steph, and Steph can still be the best player on the team, but obviously you got to reduce his minutes. That's where Poole comes into play, as you mentioned earlier. But it's a lot they have to figure out, and they have to figure out what to do. And the one thing I will say that might be something, as much success as they had, them being the team that had the fortune of, man, we just came from a finals, but we had some injuries, and then we got a top pick. To take that pick and Wiseman, and it basically ended up turning in and trading it, trying not to be in the tax too much, but also getting back Gary Payton II. That's one of those deals to where, like, that was supposed to be a bridge to the future. And like I hear Bomani Jones say all the time,
Yeah,
you cannot
Kaminga.
play. Yeah, Kaminga, and they got Kaminga and they got Moody, and those are two pieces that they're trying to figure out what to do. But that Wiseman pick not quite working out like he expected. You would have wanted that to be a piece to bridge, but it's hard to play for championships and play for the future at the same time. So I understand the moves that they made, and like obviously they still want a title, so that covers all of it up. But I don't know. A lot of people think the West is, hey, it's gonna be so tough, it's gonna be difficult. Like they would say, we was talking last week. Denver's not going anywhere. Denver's, I feel like, is in a good spot, but it's time to see. I want to see what these teams do because they are trying to make the CBA to where the players go and spread the talent spreads out. This offseason, it's an underwhelming free agent class, and everyone doesn't have a lot of money. And that's why I've been saying Kyrie Irving's probably going to stay with the Mavs if he wants to get paid. But it's going to be real interesting because I don't know if you per se want Draymond and Poole on the same team anymore.
So
It
with
could
that,
work, but
yeah,
you know,
I still take. I don't know. It depends, man. It
I'm
depends.
taking Draymond.
If you, yeah, because it depends if you want to keep your current window or you trying to go with the youth movement. Because I pick Draymond. He's the heart and gear of that Warriors squad, and
Architect of the defense.
that brings me to this one question that I heard from KJM this morning. So with the Warriors pretty much during this whole Steph, Clay, Draymond era, they are known as the dynasty. They are basically the current dynasty of the NBA. Even though they didn't make it to the finals this year. They did win it last year, and just 3 seasons or 2 seasons prior to that, they was damn near unbeatable at times. I mean, it made news when the team lost the game, especially when they got KD. So they are the last known dynasty as of right now. So they brought up a debate question. What do you consider a dynasty? Do you consider, for example, like, okay, the Lakers are a perfect example. The Lakers were considered a dynasty through that first decade of 2000 because
Mm-hmm.
they went to 4 straight title games, even though they lost the last one against Detroit. They could have won it. They could have been a four-peat. Then they went through a
Now
stretch.
it wasn't 4 straight. It wasn't 4 straight because we won the 3-peat and then the Spurs beat us.
Oh, okay.
After
And then they had
yeah,
that one against
and then we had
Detroit.
the Pistons. We ain't got to talk about
So, and then after that, they went through because Shaq left, and then they went through a time where they didn't make the play, or they didn't make a
the first
finals.
year. Yeah, the first year they didn't make the playoffs, and then they had the 2 years where I think it was like Kobe, Smush Brown, Kwame,
Yeah.
and just a whole
So
bunch of characters,
they
and they
wasn't
was
the
getting
same
knocked out
team.
by the Suns in the first
Yeah.
round, and then we came back after Kobe made the trade demand. Then we make the
But
finals in '08.
Gasol.
Kobe wins '08, but yes, Gasol comes in after Bynum gets hurt, and then
Yeah.
you make 3 straight finals and they win 2, and so that's where in NBA terms, because when I in the chat I think 3 in the NBA 3 because this one person is so important, it's
Well,
so
that's what they
dominant.
was saying. That's what they was asking because the only, it's almost kind of like two-piece. When they say
Hmm.
Lakers dynasty, they basically going from 2000 to 2009 when they won that last, what was the last, 2009 or
2010,
2010. when they won their last title, even though it's two different segments of Lakers era.
Yeah.
But the one consistent with that is Kobe. And
Yeah.
so when you
Kobe and Phil.
say and Kobe and Phil, when you say Lakers dynasty, do you consider that a Lakers dynasty or that's really Kobe dynasty? Now to me, because it's the same thing with the Bulls, because it was two segments. Jordan and Pippen with their supporting cast. Jordan retired for 2 years, came back. When they went on the second three-peat, it was still Jordan, Pippen, and Phil, and then the supporting cast changed. But you still say that's a Bulls dynasty because it's the Bulls. Now, you people may say, no, that's a Jordan dynasty or Jordan, Pippen, Phil dynasty because they were the only three pieces that was consistent through that. With the Lakers, it is Kobe. With the Warriors, it's Steph, Clay, and Draymond. So do you put the dynasty on the players or do you put dynasty on the organization?
It's the whole organization.
I put it on the organization because the players, it's their we talk about their legacy individual with the players, not dynasty. Dynasty I look at as an organization. So the Yankees are the old. They won in the 40-year stretch. They won 20 World Series. They had changes all throughout the roster and whatnot, managers and all that. But you still say Yankees dynasty because you look at the organization. So that's what they was debating about. Do you put it on like for the Warriors, Steph, and they the main three pieces that was all that was the same, or do you say the organization as a whole is a dynasty?
I go with the organization as a whole, just because even with the Lakers, especially at that time, it wasn't Jerry West had left. I think he left in the 2000s, the early part of the three-peat. But Mitch Kupchak at the time was a really competent general manager that was making savvy moves. So savvy that one of the trades he made, obviously you know what I'm talking about, they made him nix it because he got a great player, an All-NBA player, but he saved money. And so so they were savvy in making good moves at the time. Rob Pelinka, I will say, I gave him grief, but this trade deadline gives me hope for the future. And one of the things I think he did is that I don't know if people understand that the NBA is ran and ran so much by agents. What was Bob Myers doing before he was a GM? He's an agent. What is Rich Paul right now? An agent. And when you look at just him bringing Trae Young to the game, he knew what that was going to do. So if they want something done, and that's another team that's going to be possibly playing the second apron super tax, but got bounced in the first round and was a play-in team. So they need to trade salary because maybe the Dejounte Murray, as I figured, and Trae Young combo really wouldn't quite work as well as you wanted to. And so them just being there. So them having ends with Clutch is going to help because there are organizations, hopefully some of those GMs cycle out, that front offices that are not happy that were with Rob Pelinka, and they make it hard for the Lakers to make deals. I've heard that repeatedly, from NBA whispers, from executive type people that have access to executives and information like that. They're like, hey, a lot of people don't like Rob. And that was said from the jump. I mean, for goodness gracious, he rubbed Magic Johnson the wrong way. I mean, they played nice, but now he did some stuff that was like, bro, you shady. He's probably makes you for a great agent, but a general manager, you have to play both sides. So, Jay, man, I appreciate your patience, man. I know you've been waiting, man. Hey, how you feel? Man?
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. He pissed me off when they let these motherfuckers come back 3 times. And because
one
of
them was
that, I was being a Heat fan because of that shit. Because I'm like, bro, you trash. Why would you let niggas come back 3-0? I don't care.
I give them grief on that tip in they got, man.
And guess what? The Nuggets, no offense to your team. I know you're a Lakers fan, but they swept the niggas. They ended it. They weren't playing around.
Yeah, they ended it. Not playing.
Yeah. Jimmy and them, you dicked around too much. Because guess what? I said after that game 3, this is what I said. I was never comfortable with you guys blowing them out the way you did. You want to know why? You saved that for like the last game, and you blow them niggas out. And you want to know what? And guess what? I said, you know what that game 3 reminded me of? OKC Thunder, when LeBron James and them brought out Mike Miller and he stepped shooting threes, start blowing them niggas out. Pause to that. But he ended it. They ended it. They made sure that they was going to win. I did not like that strategy at all because I had a bad feeling from that. And I'm like, bro, you let him come back 3-0. But I will say this. He cleaned it up in 7. And I guess it is poetic justice because they won the trophy on your floor and you get to win it on theirs. So that, okay. But I'm going to say this. Caleb Martin bailed you out. I'm going to keep it real. He bailed you out.
I believe Martin should have won Eastern Conference MVP.
And guess what? I actually agree. I would say that just for that series particularly, he should have won that.
Yeah.
Now,
Jimmy won based off his reputation.
The entire playoffs.
But Caleb
I'll give it to Jimmy. Fine.
Martin was the best player.
But Martin's the best player for the Celtics series. No, don't think anybody is going to deny that shit. And second probably be Gabe Vincent after that. I don't think that's, to me, that's uncontested. But I want to respond to the freaking Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown thing, and then we'll get to that other thing, and then we'll talk. I guess we'll talk finals after that. If you guys want to get to that. Jason Tatum is more talented than freaking Jaylen Brown. I think we all can agree to that here. I would not get rid of Jason Tatum. I think he needs some more cultivating into being a better because he's really young, and he's still 25, right? Correct.
Yes. I think he might be 26.
Yeah,
okay.
Brown is to be 27. I think they should be around the same age.
Because I thought he entered his first finals when he was 25, which was last year, right?
Let's see. Jason Tatum.
Oh,
he's 25.
Okay. So he has a lot of time to cultivate and grow. Shawty and my man Dante. I think you guys would agree that I guess if he was under a better coach more often enough to cultivate his talents the way Jokic is developed, the way Jimmy to some extent has developed, things like that. Like he is your star franchise player. It's not really Jaylen Brown. That you consider them a tag team duel, but they're not the best. Because I think Jamal Murray and Jokic just shit on that already right now. But
yeah,
I think you build a franchise around Tatum because he's your star. And also the guys that they have, I can't lie. Let's be real. I honestly thought we were going to get our asses whooped. I'm going to be real. Because remember, that team is so – well, first of all, I'll drop the dispense after this. But they have so much offensive power, so much people to rally around. But Tatum only shows up in, I guess the game when they need to win it the most, even though I consider it different than Jimmy, but Jimmy's more clutch when he needs to be. But Tatum cannot have on and off games like that. To me, he has to be the best player on the court for that team. He has to be the leader, and Marcus Smart would be, I guess, the guy that rallies the troops. He's the support system. I guess you could say he's the Draymond Green of the team. If you want to be like people want to debate Al Horford, be my guest. I mean, he can. He might be the motivational speaker, but I think Marcus Smart rallies the team better. So, with all that being said, I think a lot of teams are going to go after Jaylen Brown if they get rid of him. If they get rid of him off that squad. I kept hearing, first of all, you're not going to get Dame Lillard. I promise you're not getting Dame Lillard. I promise you're not going to get that nigga. You're not going to get him. I promise you.
Everybody trying to get Dame.
Everybody trying to get Dame.
No, what I felt with Dame.
Yeah,
they're trying to get a player. I don't think Dame. I think what the thing is, and I can see this. It's one of those deals to where we don't want to get rid of you at this point, and if they can't, I think they'll wait until they can get the best possible deal. They'll wait. Yeah, they'll wait. But if they can get somebody with that number 3 pick, I know because he doesn't really want to leave because he's brought up a good point. He brought up a good point that a lot of it I agree with, some of it I don't. And he was talking about players' legacies and things like that. But he was just mentioning that, outside of a few different people, you only going to remember, certain people are going to be talked about. Dang, no. We're not going to take it off from you that, bro, you are a top 75 of all-time player. You win a championship or you don't win a championship, then you're going to go into the top 75 group. You're going to go right over to the Barkley side. Not a bad side to be in. You can still do stuff. You can still be like, hey, I used to bust people's ass, but you were not able to kind of get it done.
I wouldn't even put him on the Barkley side. I'll put him on the Carmelo. Yeah. Barkley would have had a title. He just ran against Jordan.
Jordan
that was his thing.
That's the problem.
Dame hadn't even got to the finals yet.
The finals.
Just like Melo. Because both with Melo, he loved playing in his home in New York, and he wanted his money. Dame, even though he's not from
He had a
Portland,
squad.
he loved being in Portland. So their commitment to stay with their respective teams, even though they had, because Melo could have went with Miami. It was Melo before Chris Bosh.
Yeah, more
but he wanted to stay. He wanted to get his money.
Melo actually, he did a lot of things that was like you could kind of critique. One thing that he did to make it, to get the more shine. What was the draft class of 03? That was LeBron. That was Melo. That was D-Wade. Chris Bosh.
Yeah.
Notice how they all came in the same year. He signed his deal to be a free agent the year next, and that was such a bad and it was such a wrong play because you had the CBA thing looming. So he wanted his money, and he was he pressed the trade. He was probably not the first, but he was one of the first. I remember that. You heard all the leaks, but he never directly said out of his mouth, "I want to be traded." Never said it, but it was behind the scenes.
Nope.
It was a known thing, and he wanted to push so he could go with the bird rights and get the max deal. Well, if you go ahead and sign and do like everyone else, everybody signs that first extension because it's the most money you ever seen in your life. You sign that first extension, and everybody leaves around 27, 28. That second deal, because it's like, hey, I gave you 7, 8 years. If I didn't do it now, oh well, you go somewhere else. Melo could have been there, and then that who knows what changes the course of history. Maybe Bosh is cut out,
Yeah, because it was supposed to be James, Melo, and Wade. They was originally, they already homeboys. They was the original three that were going to go to Miami, but because Melo wanted to sign this extension, they basically, okay, you gonna stay in New York, let's go get Bosh. But originally it was them three, so I'm pretty sure he would have probably had at least one ring, but Bosh messed with them too, and that was it.
Really good.
So, hey, but I think I see Melo and Dame kind of the same boat because Barkley.
Right about that one.
Barkley.
I give you. Barkley had a chance. He took a team to the finals, and he balled out in the finals. So one of those, like, there's certain performances you can provide, and you could be like, okay, you didn't win it, and I feel like sometimes Barkley should harp on that. Like, look, I balled out in the finals. Like, I was that dude. I lost to a better team. Like, like it was funny. I don't know what it was. I guess it was Paul George podcast, and he was just like, they was talking about LeBron. He was just like, damn, he put me out too. Came over, did this, and I was like, put me out. They was having like stories where he put people out. And I was like, damn, that's tough. And then you had Drew Holiday was talking about Jimmy Butler, but he bust me down. I got to admit, he said I had time to reflect afterwards, and I respect it, bro. Y'all are competitors, y'all the best. There's times where, hey, man, this guy is really elite. He got the best of you in this round. There's the points where Paul George and Russell Westbrook and all that when Dame time started. Like I remember when he hit that shot on the Rockets, and I was like, oh, bro. And that's when I realized I was like, bro, he was that deep.
Yeah.
And Dame time. I mean, they jumped all on him, and it was just like, if he has one of those, if he has moments like that in the fight, that's another reason I want him on a better team.
That's why.
So
exactly. That's why I told him if you put him with somebody really good, or that's why I said like, and this is a fantasy draft I did. Imagine if you have Butler, Dame, and I told people who would get. This is a stretch. If you had Jaylen Brown with him, then you had Bam. You just got rid of Hero, and you had Caleb Martin. Like those 5 people. I said, bro, that squad would be stupid. And you want to know why it would be? Dame would have the players he would need, and Jimmy would have his to-go-to guy in case I need a rest. You come out and knock out the rest of that shit. Or when Dame needs to step off, Jimmy can come knock that out and all that stuff. But you'd have a capable squad that would push you to that next level, and also you would get to a finals. Like look what Jimmy did with just freaking. You want to call him a drafted player? Look what he did.
Yeah. That's
stupid. That's unheard of. That cats like that he just willed them motherfuckers to get over there. That's why I said the talks about Jimmy Butler are going to be so different now. Because if he be magic, I'll say miracle and magical. If he beats these motherfuckers, like actually gets a championship.
If he does that
now, he's not like
that's
a 20 player no more.
God, you have to do that because I know I even still do it. Like I'm one of the guys on here on local radio was just like,
Gotta be
yeah,
like number 10.
I still think Jimmy's more of like a 2, and then like, he just keeps having the success. So I think it's a lot. It's a lot him. It's a lot in the organization. But I'm gonna address a few things in the chat. The loves, what's good? I see you said that you hope that the reign does the Joker doesn't last. I don't see anything unlikable about him, and I also think while they're really good, this will be the 5th different champion that we've had in the last few years. So, it's another different champion. So I don't know if right now, I think it's just whoever, makes it to the finals. It's kind of tough right now to repeat. Army Vet, I see you making jokes at Zion. I'm hoping Zion does get healthy and has a big season. I think the organization is going to put pressure on him for that.
Zion is a franchise changer. Dude just can't stay on the court.
Yeah.
But
he
Love,
got to stay on the court.
Super sticker though.
I think Zion's overrated now at this point, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Now I called it, and see, it doesn't look the best right now. I wish you had the show then. I called it and I was like, look, man, I caught on to John. I was like, I'm really interested in him. I always kind of felt that Zion's the body type. When they said his body type in one of those camps, I was like, I don't know how that's not really gonna work in the league because every clip I've seen of him is dunking over 3 or 4 people and just going. I don't know how that's gonna affect him or his jumper and everything like that. And unfortunately, it's turned out to be true that he wasn't able to correct that issue yet. But I thought that Ja could be the best player in that draft. And early on it looked great, and now obviously mental health checks, and I know I'm jawed out on topics, but hopefully he can. I am, man.
I love that, man. Clip that. I'm jawed.
I'm jawed out for real. It's like it's kind of like we were Lamar'd out. We were Lamar'd out. Like other than this right now,
topics. It was Kyrie, Lamar, and
Kyrie, Lamar.
Yeah,
and of course
get burnt out.
The all time that we put in the all time. We're not a touching topic. We won't even say it. You can run through the old videos if you want to, but we don't speak on that no more. For real.
That particular topic, that dude could be. He could do whatever. Somebody still bring his name. I'm like, damn, dude, leave this man be. But we got in the topic. We touched on it a little bit. Now the NBA Finals, the previews. I read somewhere, I forgot where I read it at, that they talking about Adam Silver going to have a problem because of the 2 teams that's going to be playing. There's nobody on the court. There's no top 10 jersey sale player on the court. So, that's a popularity thing if you look at it like that. Yes, Miami is a good tourist, I guess, party city or whatever. But
hey, man.
But they don't have the national eyes like that. The team is, as far as the Heat doesn't. And you already know Denver, they're in the mountains. Nobody really think about them. So they think that the games it's not going to draw the eyeballs compared to the other 2 teams that could have potentially went in with the Lakers and the Celtics.
Celtics, but
they didn't handle up.
They didn't handle business. They didn't have no business, and the thing is, there may not be a top 10 jersey seller, but there is a top 10 player. Excuse me, there is a top 5 player.
But the talent, the player that don't translate to popularity.
It doesn't always translate.
No, it don't translate. People want to see faces. Jokic, he's not nobody that's really he's an international player. He's not nobody. He's not promoted like that. And the only people who really talk about Jokic are people who follow the sport.
Basketball guys. This is a basketball. This is a hooper series because you got players like you said that came undrafted guys. So you got guys that had to fight to get on the roster and they have to do like those small things. You have Mr. I know I get tired of hearing it, but Heat culture, doing things the right way and playing the right way. You got a guy in Kyle Lowry with a big salary coming off the bench. Because it's like that. You got Eric Spoelstra, one of the real good coaches, one of the best coaches in the NBA. Was on that all-time coaching list that they dropped along with the top 75. So it's like, man, it's some intriguing pieces to this one. I mean, me personally, I not just because they just dog my team, but when you look at it, I got Denver just because Jokic is a problem. And then who can guard Murray? Because I thought I seen Murray and I was just like, you know what, he's a really good player. But I was like, hey, I'm more so worried about Jokic. But it's really a true two-headed monster to where, all right, you trying to stop this, hey, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna go off. And then it was just like I was expecting, like you would have told me, oh dang, Steph is gonna kill you with games like Murray did. I'd have been like, okay, I see that. Did not expect a Curry like game or multiple from Jamal Murray. I just didn't see it. I mean, I knew I liked the moves that they made in the offseason. I thought one of the biggest ones they had was KCP, because that's probably going to be first man up on Jimmy Butler, and so you put him on him, Bam, deal his best with, Joker as you can. But I want to see if Miami's going to pull that zone out. I don't like it. I like teams to play straight up. I go ahead and play me straight up. You can still get creative with it, but what are they going to do in that zone with the shooting? I don't know if I don't know if it's going to work because of that shooting. The shooting that they had. You got Michael Porter Jr. You got
because he can strip it on the zone by himself. That's what I'm saying, and I've listened to a lot of podcasts talk about this. I agree. I don't think anybody can stop freaking Joker. Let's just keep it real. That's why I'm got Denver and I'll give Denver a 6 because I think he can get 2. Like I said. But the difference is, they got the best duo they got to deal with right now, which is probably better than the Tatum and freaking Brown. Let's just keep it real. It's way better. You got a big guy that's similar to Shaq, except more movement and more flexibility and more freaking actually dexterity is what he's got. He got a lot of dexterity going for him. That's what Joker's got going for him. And you have Jamal Murray, who is literally a sniper. He can literally shoot really, really freaking good, and he can get those screens and get his shots off, but he doesn't really need. Like, I'll be honest, I saw some of the Lakers, like, he didn't even need screens to get shots off. He just shoots. Like, at all. So, and I've seen poor defending on him is what it is. But I don't know. Like I said, Miami could, like, slow him down. It's not an issue, but you're never going to stop down Joker. So, the best thing you can do is try to slow all the other pieces around you. But like I said, this isn't an incompetent coach you're not dealing with across the things. Like, Mike is actually freaking really good. What he's done with that team. He's a great coach. Let's just keep it real. He's a really great coach. What he's meant to do with those boys over there. With Eric Gordon and freaking Kyle Pope, like Michael Porter Jr., like all those dudes. And even Jeff Green is still in the freaking league, which is funny guys, because he's been there since the freaking team. He's almost been almost every freaking team at this point. So I mean, I think you can slow him down. I'm not expecting a lot from that brother. I'm really not. He's the only one I'm expecting a lot from. But everybody else, I'm expecting a lot from on Denver because Eric Gordon is really freaking good on defense. Freaking, like I said, Jamal Murray's good on defense. Like all of them. Yeah, they have the size advantage. But what's really funny, very similar to this team in Denver.
Trying to check the chat.
Oh, no, I got you. And they took down Milwaukee. And Milwaukee technically had the second biggest dude in the freaking NBA. So I do want to give them their credit on that because that was a big dude. First of all, let's keep him straight. Jimmy Butler dunked on Giannis. Did y'all ever forget that? So I don't think it mattered to me that once he did that, I was like, I ain't afraid of no freaking wall. But I think
NBA players don't really care about height.
Of why they don't
care about height. That's why what's his name? What's the name when Victor Wembanyama come to the league? What, he's 7'5"?
Yeah, he's 7'5".
Oh, they're gonna dunk at him
something
too.
like that.
They don't care. He got to be used to it. And then that comes to the program though. If you're a shot blocker, expect to get dunked on. You're gonna win some battles, you're gonna lose some battles.
Exactly.
But yeah, I put the Jokic Murray tandem. I'm trying to think of another tandem because they could possibly be the best tandem in the NBA. Because people don't think about Jamal Murray. That's the thing. Jamal Murray, as lethal as a player that he is, has never been an all-star starter. As lethal because he was injured. So with him being injured, that basically kind of wiped the memory of him from people's minds. But the tandem that I'll put up against them is KD and Booker. They already beat them. Even though KD and Booker, they didn't have. You were going against the Nuggets as a team versus KD and Booker, who basically sold their soul to get to KD. And then when they lost Paul, when they lost Chris Paul, it became too much of a burden to bear. But that tandem is still lethal. It used to be Clay and Steph, but Clay, he's not playing like Clay no more right now. So I'm waiting for that because Clay and Steph, I mean, that's the most fire tandem. I mean, once they get hot, it's just like the game is just. I remember during the heyday of the Warriors, it's like once they got hot, game over. It was over. You saw a lead
Game 6 Clay and all
so
of that.
fast. Oh man, it was over.
I keep hearing that Game 6 Clay. Like,
yeah, it was the truth. And
not this Game 6 Clay though.
No, but he hasn't been the same, since he came back from his injuries. But yeah,
I saw it from another. I saw it from I'm on Twitter and I'm seeing it, and it was posted by Complex Magazine. So
yeah, I saw it on another website. Basically, his contract is going to end at the end of the finals, and then after that, he's not going to renew it. And for all we're talking about Shannon Sharp. There's been news coming out that after the finals this year, he's not going to renew his contract to come back on the Undisputed with Skip. So you already know the past this particular year. In general, there's been friction between the two, and I guess Sharp, he's not feeling it no more.
To me, and I know switching gears, he's done enough to build his brand, and that's why I try to avoid the show a lot. I'll watch some clips if they're interesting because it's predictable. You know what you're gonna get. Skip is. And I hate it as a Cowboys fan that Skip is a Cowboy guy. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And then, Shannon Sharp has to go to the other side because, I will say this, just me personally, I think he's a guy that played in the league where the Cowboys, smacking teams around. But he also got to see the other side of it where they started to go on the downturn. And so he might have been a guy that might not have liked him. Who knows what happened? Maybe they pissed him off, didn't want to draft him. Who knows? But he plays the bit really good. So, but sometimes it's like you can play the bit, but sometimes you got to be real about if something is legitimate or not. And I think sometimes he takes it too far. Like the time with the what was it, not Julius Jones, Cowboy, Julio Jones, when he was trying to do the phone call and breaking media rules and calling guys and all kind of stuff like that. He was like Cowboys, making a joke, and it's just like. I mean, the guy's making a legit claim for where he wants to go. Obviously, the Cowboys don't sign a lot of big players like that, but the players use that as leverage to boost them. So if they're going to do that, let them do that. Don't go with the whole Cowboy hate bit. He was talking about playoffs and doing all the, winning. It's like they definitely made the playoffs, but it's like, come on, man. Sometimes he takes it and it's just like, get out of the character of that. Other than that, sometimes he does fanboy out for LeBron, and it's like, it's cringy.
He fanboys a lot.
Like the pour the honey on. I'm gonna pour honey on you. I'm like, bro, did you just type that? Did you just type that? It was like you typed that, and I was like, I looked again. I was like, I get what you were saying, but I wouldn't. I'm gonna put that. But so it's like it'll be interesting to see where it goes. I'm pretty sure they might give him. I don't know what they'll do, but I'm pretty sure it'll be a competitive bidding war for. You know who wants him.
Oh, yeah.
Who you talking about? Who wants Sharp?
ESPN wants him on Monday. Well, now actually, with the thing with Michael Irvin going on, I'm pretty sure they would love to have him on Monday mornings, just to be there for Mike instead of on First Take.
I can see that. The only thing about it, what I give Undisputed is, even though Stephen A. tries to go on the topics, more controversial topics, ESPN got this whole cloak thing going on. Like, for example, when it comes to, you see it when it comes to anything dealing with women. Like, the dudes who work on that network, it's like everybody, when it comes to women, has the same thoughts over an issue. You saw when Stephen A. tried to mention about the Udoka thing, and he mentioned about the actual report about it being consensual, and how Malika Andrews jumped on him, and she jumped on Kendrick Perkins and stuff like that. It's like, if anything involves a woman, they immediately just take their side. They can't say nothing Because you saw that when the whole Zeke thing. Like I remember when the suspension came down on Zeke back in 2017,
17.
it was hard to come down on Zeke, but then they left it alone. Thankfully, Zeke appealed, and then the truth came after. He just served his suspension because it turned out NFL just wanted him to get suspended.
Yeah,
and he served it, but ESPN never brought up what happened afterwards. Basically, it was basically almost a lie that the woman did, and all these other details. They never
text
did
messages.
that. Now, Undisputed did. Undisputed brought up. They talked about that. So it's like they don't. I don't know if it's Undisputed or FS1.
I think it. You know what? Now that you think of it, and I'm saying it because I wanted to know. Did they cover it? Because I used to really be into the show. Like I go back with them when it was Cold Pizza, but I kind of fell off of it. What's the name? FS1. That's Fox. And even though, like, I remember I interned for Fox once, and I remember Fox gets a lot of bad press, and so they always try to spin it and be like, "We're not Fox News," and it's like, even though that kind of trickles down at times, you can see it. Like I was younger, so I didn't see it in my 20s. I didn't see some of the ways it was. Just like, hey, this is ESPN, but still Disney. So sometimes they have to, go a certain way, but they'll do things. And shout out to Robert Littell, Black Sports Online. He had shouted this out years ago. He pointed this out. ESPN was trying to get some of that red money, some of that conservative money, because that guy went to a conservative network. Man, I can't remember his name. He was real annoying.
You talking
about
his
name?
Yeah. Damn it.
Oh, I
actually didn't mind him. Because he brought a different perspective. But damn it,
all I know is he used to debate with Shaq. He used to get into debates with. All I got to do is
him and Max Kellerman used to go at it all the
time. Wait. Oh, it didn't come up for me this time. Because normally if you put in Bomani Jones roast ESPN host, what you will get is his name. That's what you normally get. But this time it didn't come up. Will Kane, that's it.
Yeah. And I didn't mind some of his viewpoints sometimes. But yeah, I think, because of his political views. And at times he tried to stay sports, but a lot of times other people kept bringing up his political. He didn't really bring it up too much, but they did. And then I remember one episode he was getting frustrated because they was focusing on it. He tried to keep it sports, but a lot of other people always try to bring in his Republican ties, and it just, But I didn't mind some of his viewpoints because I like, it brought a different perspective. But yeah, with Shannon Sharp, if he tried to go, it just looks like Sharp is more willing to dive deep into certain topics. In particular, topics that deal with African American. Stephen A. Smith, he will, but he only goes to a certain point. Shannon Sharp will go further. So that's why I don't know if Sharp will be a good mix, because I think Stephen A. would go. But one thing about Stephen A. has been proven, he is a corporate man. That's why they got
He's not gonna get showed up.
So, yeah, he always shows up.
He don't like it. He don't like getting showed up, and it's interesting. I heard, speaking of talking about getting showed up, like I heard Bomani Jones talk about one time when Skip was still at ESPN, and he was just gonna roast him. So he went in and chopped him up. Never got on that desk again. Never. No. He cannot outshine the master. As the 48 laws of power.
Oh man, what was that dude that went after? I forget Stephen A. I think they were the same age. He said, "Yo, was it Will Kane? I forget his name."
You talking about was it an
analyst or was it an athlete?
I knew it was I don't think he was an analyst.
I know before it became cool, Ryan Clark went at Stephen A. before.
They were talking about the Cowboys and he said I've been covering basketball since you've been born, and he said like, whoa, they trying to save age, bro. What the
I forgot. The only
No.
one I can think of who will say something like that is Chris Mad Dog Russo, but they not nearly the same age.
Now Russo older.
Like I go on, Stephen A gets more creditless every time he talks sometimes, and I think I'll say this. I think he's entertaining. Don't get it twisted. I think the man is entertaining, so don't get it twisted. He's entertaining as well to watch, but his takes are hilarious. Like
he's hilarious. And then the thing, I'll give him this. Because sometimes I really soured on him because some topics he disappoints me on when it starts to come to racist stuff and holding it down and just being honest. And Shannon might not always agree with his points either. But I will say this: he is a company man, and he knows how to be slick. Like what he did with the whole Jerry Jones thing, and last year with the schedule release, and him being tight with Jerry and doing the whole bit and coming to Texas live, and then he even came to the flagship, the Cowboys flagship. He came on, and I stopped down and listened to see what he was gonna say, and I was like, I was ready to be like, they're gonna go in on him. He came in sly as hell. And I was like, damn, bro, but that's how you got your job. That's why they pay you. Like even as he says, not enough damn money. But he good. He can be slicking.
Yeah.
Huh?
He's actually a Cowboys fan. I say Stephen A's. Yeah.
No,
he claims to be a Steelers.
But I think he's secretly a fan. Like literally.
Well, it's one of those deals because his network is like, I always say this as a Cowboys fan. There's two things that's true. If the Cowboys win, of course, Cowboys fans will beat their chest. But if they lose, hey, bro, they're gonna talk. They're gonna have segments. It felt like until Friday. Oh yeah, guess what? Cowboys lost last week and they win this. It feels like that. Even though by the time it gets to Wednesday, as I've learned, it flips to the next week. Especially now, you're focusing on that Thursday night game. Who's injured? Who's gonna play? Whatever. And it flips. But it feels bad those Monday and Tuesday. It feels terrible. You know what I'm saying? But it's like it's so good for business. And I hear Bomani say it all the time. He's like, he don't have root interest on the team, but he was just like, I mean, the Cowboys good is good for business. And like I've heard them say, like, hey man, if it's a slow week, but if the Cowboys are doing well, and we got stories we can pull up in angles, they said, but when it's these other teams that aren't as interesting, it gets a little tough. Right. But but man, it's a story, man, we want to get into that I kept. And matter of fact, Johnny, props to you because I had it was the universe. I'll say it was the algorithm. I had just saw a YouTube video. The YouTube video I posted, I had already had that in saved for my watch list. I saw you mention the post about the case on Hoop Jargon, and I was like, damn, we should have that. Should be a topic because the name I kept saying, why is that name familiar to me? And I was like, Travis Rudolph, why is that name familiar? So I'm looking up, and Travis Rudolph in 2021 was arrested for a murder. But the situation, if you hear murder, you're thinking, oh man, this guy is because if you hear murder, former football player, 39 shots, you think, man, that guy's a thug. He's a this, he's a that. But if you peel back the onion and read the details of the story, I'll give a quick synopsis. Basically, a man has a girlfriend. He has a girlfriend.
I know I put it on here. I typed that up real quick. So basically,
go ahead.
Rudolph X came to his home, basically confronted him about. She accused him of cheating. The confrontation got intense. She slapped Rudolph and called her brother saying, come shoot this shit up. Her brother ended up coming with three homeboys. Four.
Yeah, three homeboys. It was four in total men.
Four total. So four total dudes came to Rudolph's house and
in the state of Florida.
So at that time, they got into it. Ultimately, and then there was a video, and I saw a little bit of the video that you shared. The four dudes got into the car, but as they was leaving and whatnot, they was pointing their guns towards Rudolph.
And his brother.
So at that time, Rudolph, who was outside with an AK-47 or something
AR.
like that, AR, he let out 39 bullets.
Yeah, 39 shots.
One of the four dudes was killed. Another one got injured. The other two didn't suffer anything.
They went. Yeah.
So basically, court comes into the play. Rudolph was trying to say, hey, stand my ground. You know, Florida is a stand my ground state, and this is judge said no, and I believe currently that whole case is still in trial. But that's
Yeah.
basically kind of the gist. But the Dante had a video. It was a whole YouTube video. I think I watched about a little less than 30 minutes of it. But it kind of explained because it showed the video, which was caught on a Ring camera, and then the ex-girlfriend, she basically was kind of I want to say she spearheaded everything, basically, because she had originally
She everything.
Yeah.
She made the situation worse. Like I say this,
exactly.
Look, you have to talk to women with a certain amount of respect. He was upset with her, but he was just like, he definitely called out her name, definitely called her the B word. He called her that, and he says it, but two wrongs don't make a wrong. She starts going upside his head, and like you can clearly, like, I watched the part because I had my kids with me, and I was like, I didn't want it to be too much negative stuff, so I was like watching it. And when I heard the part where, he's talking about what happened, and, she basically said verbatim, you sent a text, shoot his shit up. She was like, I meant to shoot up his house, not him. Like, man, if you give that's literally what she said on the stand. I promise you not. And after that, I was like, you know what? I can't do this. If this man goes to jail for this, I just seeing that, I'm like, man, this is hard to take.
There's an actual text. It's not like she's saying this. Well, she said this verbatim on the stand, but before that, there's actual text messages, so she can't lie about it. They showed the text messages that she sent to her brother. Come shoot them, and then he came and brought the other dudes with him. So
this is crazy.
Stand by ground law. They came to your house with some firearms. You got the right to protect your home. But the judge originally said no to that, and now they're still going through trial. We waiting on the results on that.
And to clear this up, I did see, I was reading some of the information because I think it's day 4 of the trial. One of the coroner said that basically one of the person that died with a gun in his hand. So that it's kind of he died with a gun in his hand. Y'all came with guns and y'all were shooting out the window at me. And my brother, like he said, and I saw him do an interview on it. He actually did an interview. Mm-hmm. And when you do interviews like that, a lot of times if you feel like it's kind of murky, you kind of keep the defendant back. And for me, just, I'm glad I'm not on the jury like that, because him talking so openly about it, like he said, like the woman said, you let off 39 shots. He said, I'm a pro athlete. I have quick reflexes. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, that's a hell of a point. And so I'm just like, damn, this is that. When I saw it, I was just like, man, this is case. But I mainly want to make the point is because I have a younger brother who's an athlete, and obviously not on the level of of getting on the cusp of being drafted. But I said to any young man, you have to watch how you conduct yourself in situations, because I'm not putting any of this onus on him. I know they got into it. I wasn't happy with some of the language he used or whatever. But you got to be careful with how situation works. And also, man, you never know how somebody's going to do it. She felt disrespected. She felt, oh, you did this, you put your hands on me, whatever, you got into it. She sent, and over an argument, hey, shoot his stuff up. And then I haven't been able to confirm it, but I've heard allegedly the woman was still married to someone.
Yeah.
And so I have not been.
Bro, I'm like, that's the thing. You trying to accuse this dude, you trying to accuse this man of cheating. And you over there whole married. I'm like, hell. What world I done moved into?
And I felt like the dude is he seemed like I remember his name was a Florida State, but I was just like, I couldn't remember what level of player he was in the league. I know he played for a few teams, and it's just it's tough. You looking at the end of a career, because the guy I'm looking at it looked like he's still mid-20s.
Mm-hmm. He played for Miami.
So
I want to say Buffalo,
New York. I know he played for the Giants.
He an NFL player?
Giants in Miami.
Yeah, he played in the NFL. Yeah.
Okay.
He went to Florida State and came to the NFL to play for a couple of teams.
Yeah. I gotta say this. Yeah. Let me get this shit off, because
this is crazy.
That is a bombardment of of pure. I'm gonna use this term, niggatry. I've never used that term out loud, but let me use it. Seriously, it's just pure niggatry. Seriously, this is why. How far can I go? Just gotta say, like you got. I don't want to use the B term. You got dumb broads out here with stupid mindsets that say, "Yo, I want you to shoot. Yo, I want you to I want you to shoot this place up." I didn't mean him. Like, dude, what do you think that means to niggas? What do you think that means? Even I knew what that meant. I know you. First of all, I read context. I'm actually smarter than the average motherfucker, so I'll just keep that there. But I knew bar none how those cats were going to take that was, him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, lock in sight. Exactly. And the thing is, even if he killed one of them, you're on his property. You're not. You're trespassing. You should not.
And the thing about it, to add that was,
one of them. So I'll be honest.
It was his mom's house. Even though he was a football player, he was staying at his mom's house. So his mom's house.
Even be there.
And his brother was there. His brother was there because his brother was trying to
answer the door
after him and the girl.
Hey, listen, no, not him and his mom. When I say that, I'm talking about the cats that came with the guns to get shot. That's crazy. You're lucky only one out of three. No, you're lucky one out of three of them got freaking killed. If anything, because if all of them got wasted, then that's all them. It does not matter. They forfeited their life, and then they had guns to shoot at his mom's place. And that's even worse. So he should
conflict resolution.
Honestly, he shouldn't even be in jail. They should be in jail because
I think the thing they kind of stuck on is the amount of bullets that he shot. If I'm not mistaken,
39 because it was probably over excessive force. But man, dude, you got 4 dudes. Was it 3 dudes or 4 dudes? Right, 3.
4
dudes.
Oh no! Screw that. The shots don't matter.
So they was jumping. I don't know if both of them or one of them got in the car and tried to start firing guns from the car. So he had his AR. So he
probably not gonna jump for the AR. Probably.
But that's absolutely crazy. And it just, to me, from the standpoint of conflict resolution, nobody wants their little sister or big sister. Nobody wants their sibling to get disrespected. So if somebody calls you like that, my next thing is, was your life threatened? Like what happened for that? Like, look, all you need to do was go a little tough talk with him. Like, hey, I know you in the NFL and all, whatever. You talk down to him. You talk a little tough, and you be like, you defend your sister if you see him in person. Hey, you mug him or whatever. But going to him with weapons like this, and the thing is, you knew exactly what you were doing with that statement. I saw her on the stand, and I was just like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Her testimony was just ridiculous, man.
Is she gonna go to jail?
Yeah, KP, I'm with you. She knew exactly what she wanted. She knew what she wanted. She was upset about it, and that's where she went with it, and that was wrong. So it's like, man, that's
she
insane.
She opened up that box, and then when the worst happened, trying to put a lid on it to make it look like, nah, too late. I mean, because basically between the two of them, she was hitting him. And I don't think he hit her, but he did. This was out of the camera, but I think he did he took her to the ground and to restrain her.
Oh, okay.
I think, but they was off. They got off the camera by that time, but it looked like he was trying to restrain her. But during the camera, you didn't see him actually swing on her, and so basically,
you can't go to jail for domestic violence.
But his brother was there. And he was trying to basically separate the two, trying to calm him down, and then that's when because it was her brother, along with some other dudes came to the house.
Some other guys.
And then all hell broke loose.
He rounded up his troops. I mean,
yeah.
And as y'all see, man, we wrapping it up here. We got final thoughts. So, Jay, what you got to speak on for your final thoughts, brother?
Yo, you ended it off with that, bro. That's gonna be in my head for the next 5 hours.
Man, because we were trying to save the tough story for the end, because it's like we didn't want to start off with that. We start off some shows with some somber stuff.
Well, I want to ask you one more question. You don't think there's 2 things I want to say, but one thing, I honestly don't think he should go to jail, to be honest, because it was fired on his mom's property, and also they came with weapons directed at threat towards him. Like, even if it is 39 bullets, yes, you're right. That is over excessive. I get that. But, bro, it's four motherfuckers with guns. I don't give a damn about that, because I wouldn't put somebody in jail to that. Like, bro, you're defending your mom, your brother, his house, and she's living in there? Like, no. And it was premeditated that the woman brought him over there. Yo, put all them motherfuckers in jail. The only thing he should probably get is probably community service if he used the gun. That's about it. I say community service or probation, whatever you want to call it. Other than that, that way he'll get off easy, but he won't. But things like that, or that just in general. I'm gonna go deeper into it, but we got much time. But
Yeah, see, probably making a special appearance.
Boston Celtics, I think they got some. They got some. They got a lot of retooling to do, and like I said, that team is still formidable. It doesn't matter. They're still formidable. They still took them at 3, but I think Tatum, like I said, Tatum will blossom into a great player. I can't see him because I actually do like him as a player. I really do. I just wish he would just be willing to have that switch on all the time. That's about it for that. Finals, guys, listen, as much as I would love for Jimmy Butler to get his very first ring because he denounced his finals MVP and gave it to I actually watched this interview recently for the media. He said, I don't really care for any of that. I give that trophy to my dad. The only thing that matters is that championship thing. That's the only thing I give a fuck about. I don't give a fuck about finals MVP. I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. I just care about that. And he says, I'm willing to, like I said, these guys, and like I said, with these guys and their hard work, we're going to push us to win something. So I really would like for him to get his own ring. He got to get through a better version of Shaq. That's all I'm going to say. So I got
Whoa.
I hope you talk about Shaq during his Boston years.
Yeah.
It's not Shaq during his Miami or LA years.
Hey, I know. He had LA, brother. I get it. And Shaq is one of my favorite.
That's what
not even that. Even before that, he was a bad man.
Orlando.
He can move.
Jokic do what? Man, he can shuffle his meat, but no, he's not the level of offensive player or defensive player that he was.
Yo,
he was not.
I don't know if he was trying to say. I think you said you were trying to say shuffle his feet.
Yeah,
shuffle his feet. Yes, my bad. I meant to say I said shuffle his feet. Nah.
I was like, well, you better pause that. But
nah, we already had you had it last week. You better do it there.
No, I got you.
I was about to say, oh man, I need one of them damn buzzer beaters or editing buttons. I was like, oh man, I know that's not what he meant, man.
Nah.
Yeah. I got you. I'll tell you, Sean, I got Denver at 6. I think he could get 2 games. I think Joker's gonna prove himself in this freaking finals. But as much as I would love for Jimmy to get it, I think Denver's gonna win. Obviously, that's why I said. And the crazy thing is, they view themselves as underdogs too. You got to listen to those interviews, guys. Recently, just came out.
They're playing it up, and I'm with you. I think they'll win it in 6. I think they're good enough to win it in 5. But I'll show respect for Jimmy now.
I want to give it 6. I want to give I'll give Miami a chance. I give them 2 games. That's about it.
So that's all I got.
But that's about it.
What you got left, Sean?
I think I got Denver in 5. Because I just think that Miami is just too small for them because they're not going to have an answer for Jokic because they're too small.
They have Luka, could be a different story.
And with Denver's shot making ability,
yeah,
so Denver went through a great defense with the Lakers, and AD he guarded Jokic. Really, the combo of AD and Hachimura, it worked.
Yeah,
but it's still. You couldn't stop Jokic. One thing, even though he may not be the most athletic dude, he know how to use his size and his height.
Mm-hmm.
And Bam is just not tall enough. Just flat out. He's small. So that Jokic will have his way on that. And somebody will have their hands full chasing Murray around. And then once them two get going, they're role players. It's like once they all catch going, you're gonna have fire coming from everywhere, and I think ultimately it's just gonna overwhelm because I didn't look at it yet, but I was trying to see what basically if you want to beat Denver, you're gonna have to score more than 120 points.
Yeah,
that's basically it.
You have to
they can put points, and Miami is barely getting over 100 points. Their thing is they're going to keep you under 100 to beat you. Denver saying you're going to have to score at least 120 to beat us. And then the thing about it, Denver is also a good defensive team as well. So don't think they're just all offense and no defense.
They can play some D.
They can play both.
A little defense.
And they're bigger all around. So I think Miami, they're gonna give a good show. It's almost like how LA did. LA was in every
Every game
game, but
couldn't
Denver
close it out.
closed it out. And I think that's what's gonna happen. Miami will be in every single game, but Denver's offense will ultimately give them the edge. Even if that means winning by 1 point, 5 points, whatever.
Right.
Denver's offense is going to be able to close. It's just going to have too much weapons because it's got too much weapons. So that's why I have Denver in 5. And hell, I don't know how. I look like we probably on the closing time and that. So did
Oh
you
yeah,
give your closing already, Dante?
I'm done, man. I got it. This is the one time we feel the same, but also I'm just glad I ain't got to be hoping that Celtics don't get to 18 before we do and feel like that fans because they're so freaking annoying. So that's all I
Most
got.
definitely,
I'm
bro.
happy. I'm good. I'm gonna take a shot at my rival before I leave out. So I'm good, man. Y'all have a
I
good
got
week, fellas. Enjoy the finals tomorrow. Appreciate everybody in the chat for checking us out, man.
Poppy. Bobby talking about it's gonna be the lowest in TV ratings.
It is. Hey, it'll bounce back soon. Hey, that's how you can get. You can get what you
Hey,
get.
it's a
yeah.
basketball purist finals then. Hell, be like that then. I'll watch it.
Definitely.
I'm gonna watch it. But yeah, we'll
I
catch
don't
y'all
give a
boys
dog.
next week. Appreciate y'all for joining us.
As always, peace, y'all.
Peace.
Have a great night.